In this video, I'm going to show you the basics of CSS Grid and how I use it when I develop my websites. So if I come into the code here, I basically have one wrapper, it's like a section here, with 4 divs inside. Each div has an image, a header, and some of them have paragraph tags. Ideally, I would want those to show up side by side in a 2-column, 2-row grid. That's my goal. So if I come in here, right now they are not that way, they are shown one after another. So my first thought, if I didn't know about CSS Grid, is maybe I could do display inline block and put the width at about 50% for each of those divs. Here and refresh. The width is about 50%, but they're not showing next to each other. And the reason that is because display inline block puts a little bit of a space here. So what we can do is maybe trick that a little bit, maybe go down to 45%. And if we refresh it again, it works, but it's not exactly what we want because they're different heights. So it looks pretty blocky and not very great. So with that being said, maybe we would think we could put each of these up at the top, vertical align top. And that will help a little bit, but we still don't have the height on these last two that these ones have. So how we can do that is how we can fix this is using CSS Grid. So if I do display grid here, not there, let's erase this for now. And I put display grid here on the wrapper. And then I can put grid template columns, set to 1FR, 1FR. And 1FR just stands for FR stands for give me the available space. So 1FR, if I put that twice, each column will have equal amount of space. So now if I come back in, hit refresh, now this is looking much better. These borders are extending out all the way to the bottom. They are the same height. So maybe that's all you need, but let's go a little bit further. I would like to have a little bit of a gap in between each one of these items here. You could do a margin on these divs, but there's a better way to do it, and that's using grid gap. If you just specify one parameter, it's going to put that same gap both horizontally and vertically. And we have 30 pixels on all sides. Otherwise, we could do maybe a different value for top and bottom, and 10 pixels from left to right. So however you want to do it, it's up to you, but that's how you can use grid gap. Lastly, I want to show you how you can use grid template columns in a little bit more of an interesting way. So a lot of times we don't exactly know how big the grid is going to get, how many columns it should fit, that type of thing. So what you can do is you can do repeat autofill and maybe give each column a width. If I could do this, so each column is going to be 400 pixels, and it's just going to put as many as can fit on the screen inside that grid. And when it hits the end, it's going to wrap down to the next row. If I change this to, let's say, 200 pixels, now I can fit all 4 of them. So it's pretty responsive in the fact that it's going to start wrapping. As you see here, I'm minimizing the screen. It's going to start wrapping as needed, which is great. But we can do a little bit better than that, because if you notice, there's still a bit of white space here that we really could be using up. And so for that, we can use min-max. And min-max is going to give us a minimum width, which in this case is 200 pixels. Otherwise, we're going to give it the amount of remaining space that it can take up, which is 1FR. Now if I refresh, it takes up the remaining space, and again, once I hit that minimum width, it's going to wrap around. So I hope you found this interesting. If you did, like, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notified when we release more content. And as always, thanks for watching.